Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram today. And in this part of the Cricket Happening Show, the one thing that I would like to start off with is in the Asia Cup 2014, where Sri Lanka have clinched their spot in the Asia Cup 2014 finals. They are just waiting now as to who they would be taking on. In most likelihood, if everything goes as per plan, it should be Pakistan, because Pakistan tomorrow are having a game against Bangladesh, I reckon. Yes, Pakistan are playing Bangladesh tomorrow. So that is something. So Sri Lanka had a I would say, a very easy win over Afghanistan by a very big margin, and so they have reached the final. So that's the first news. So I'll be talking about that particular game between Afghanistan and Sri Lanka. After that, we'll also look at the third day's play, where Michael Clarke, the Australian captain, not wasting any time, looking at the situation that was prevailing there in Cape Town, he decided to declare the innings closed at the overnight score. And not only did he do that, but his bowlers really justified his declaration by bowling out South Africans on a single day at 287 to take a 207 runs lead, and then Michael Clarke did not want to enforce the follow-on, even though he could have enforced the follow-on. But what he did is he allowed his openers to go and have a crack at the South African bowlers, and David Warner attacked the bowling, taking a lot of runs, reeling off boundaries of the bowling of Morne Morkel, and they were 27 for no loss at close of play. So essentially they were 234 runs ahead with 2 more days to go in this particular match. So first and foremost, let's talk about the game between Afghanistan and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka were the ones who actually won the toss against Afghanistan and elected to bat. And first, let me really commend the the Afghanistan pace bowlers for putting up a very good show with the ball. In fact, Najibullah Zadran, who came into this match, and Shapur Zadran, the left-arm pacer, both of them really tied the opening pair of Kushal Pereira and Lahiru Thirumanne into real knots. It would really, if you look at it, in fact, they were kept on a tight leash by both these bowlers, actually bowling good lines, not giving anything on the scoring area, especially to Kushal Pereira, who likes to go on the offside, aerial on the offside, and Thirumanne too, and they had really done their homework. And the Afghanistan bowlers were really I would say they were sticking to the plans, and that was something which was not enabling Sri Lanka to get out of that. And for 9 overs, Sri Lankan openers were really struggling. Not only did they struggle, but also what Shapur Zadran was doing the other day against Bangladesh, we saw how much pace he can generate, and he has a very good action. He is a very aggressive bowler, and he actually picked up the wicket of Shamsur Rahman. And what a great sight in cricket that would be, while hitting the timber and seeing the stumps actually cartwheel. And that's what precisely happened. Shapur Zadran got a ball to come in. It went through the bat and pad gap of Lahiru Thirumanne and crashed into the stumps, and that was the sound of timber for everybody. And Shapur Zadran had given given his team the breakthrough by sending Thirumanne to the pavilion for 5. So that was the first wicket to go, and 14 for 1 for Sri Lanka. After that, Kushal Pereira, as I said, for 9 overs, it was like a stranglehold that the pace bowlers had. Not only did they take the wicket of Thirumanne, for 9 overs it was very difficult for the Sri Lankan openers to really get runs off the square. And then finally, Kushal Pereira was joined in by Sangakkara, and once Sangakkara joined in, Kushal Pereira decided to take some risks, and he started attacking the bowlers. He hit Shapur Zadran, the left-arm pacer, for a 6 and a boundary, and Kushal Pereira and Sangakkara tried to regain the initiative by putting on a partnership, but it was only a brief little partnership of 36 runs before Kushal Pereira was claimed by Mirwais Ashraf, who was the best bowler today. He had 8 overs, 1 maiden, 29 runs and 2 wickets, was absolutely on the money. He was bowling a good line and length, and was not enabling the Sri Lankan batsmen to really free their arms. And Mirwais Ashraf was the one who struck by disturbing the stumps of Kushal Pereira for 33 or 49 balls with 4 fours and 1 6. And then it was Kumar Sangakkara at the crease along with Mahela Jayawardene. Now Mirwais Ashraf, who had already done a good job, as I said, he was doing very well with the ball. What he did is he actually got Jayawardene to actually hit a shot like how he did it against India. But the only difference being, this time Jayawardene hit it on the onside, and Mohammad Nabi, the captain, took the catch gleefully. It was a good catch taken by Mohammad Nabi after bowling from Mirwais Ashraf for 14 of as many balls with 2 fours. The score read 83 for 3 in the 22nd over for Sri Lanka. After that, Chandimal came in and joined Kumar Sangakkara, and then there was a bit of a respite for Sri Lanka as there was a partnership about 50. 70 runs were added between Kumar Sangakkara and Dinesh Chandimal. And let me tell you, Kumar Sangakkara today couldn't really play with that same flair that he played against India. He had to really struggle for the runs. The Afghanistan bowlers definitely made even a player of the caliber of Kumar Sangakkara work for runs. Mohammad Nabi, the right arm off spinner, was absolutely superb. He was getting the ball to bounce, he was getting the ball to turn, and what he did is he also bowled an over in which he troubled Kumar Sangakkara to a great degree, and then and after that Dinesh Chandimal, well, he contributed 26 runs of 41 balls with 1 4 in that partnership before being a victim of the left arm spinner Hamza Kotak. In fact, what Mohammad Nabi did is he decided that since there was some spin available, he also gave Navroz Mangal 3 overs today. Everybody bowled. I mean, it was a very difficult phase for Sri Lanka as they were losing wickets at regular intervals. And once Chandimal was gone, the score read 157 for 4. Kumar Sangakkara was then joined in by Chaturanga de Silva, who contributed 17 runs of 16 balls with 1 4. And it was all the onus was definitely on Kumar Sangakkara. And suddenly, before Chaturanga de Silva fell, Kumar Sangakkara, after playing a very good hand, but not to the same degree, as I said, he really had to really work for his runs today. It was a good job done by the Afghanistan bowlers. And Kumar Sangakkara, after contributing 76, was of 102 balls with 6 fours and 1 6 was run out, and that made the score. And Chaturanga de Silva also went away. Was out after Kumar Sangakkara was out, and the score read a very 184 for 6 in the 42nd over, and Afghanistan would have been pretty happy with that effort. But after that, there were no more wickets falling as Sri Lanka, thanks to Angelo Matthews, the captain, who did a calculated assault on the Afghanistan bowlers towards the end, finishing on an unbeaten 45 of 41 balls with 4 fours, and Tisra Pereira not out 19 of 23 balls, taking Sri Lanka to a respectable 253 for 6 of their 50 overs. As far as the bowling was concerned, Najmullah Zadran, we had a look at Najmullah Zadran, was playing his first game today. I thought he bowled excellently, but one was wondering why he bowled only 3 overs for 9 runs, and one did not see him back into the attack. Shapur Zadran always giving them the breakthrough as he has been doing in both these matches. 9 overs on maiden, 1 for 46 for him. Davlet Zadran continued to be costly, 9.2 overs, no maiden, 1 for 60. But one thing that I would like to tell here, dear fans and subscribers, I was really surprised that Afghanistan are not really, they're keeping on shuffling the team. I don't know why, because I felt that Hamid Hassan, who bowled splendidly against Bangladesh, should have been included, because Hamid Hassan bowled economically, took the wickets, and is quite pacey too. And I would love to see Shapur Zadran and Hamid Hassan operate in tandem. That will be an awesome combination. And then we have Najmullah Zadran. And Mirwais Ashraf, as I said, bowled absolutely on the money. 8 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 29 for him. Mohammad Nabi, right arm off spinner, bowled excellently. 6.4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 23. And what was important was that he troubled Kumar Sangakkara, one of the world's best batsmen, to no end today with his bowling. Hamza Kotak, left zone was 143, was a bit costly today. Samila Shinwari, 4 overs for 20. And Navroz Mangal had an opportunity to bowl 3 overs, no maiden, 1 for 17. So now, as far as the Afghanistan batting was concerned, Well, Afghanistan started off in a very aggressive manner, with Mohammad Shahzad flaying Suranga Lakmal over the extra cover fence for a 6, and the very next delivery, Lakmal had his man, as Mohammad Shahzad was trying one too many, as he got his stump shattered for 7. So that was the first wicket to go. 8 for 1 for Mohammad Shahzad. Noor Ali Zadran was joined in by Asghar Stanikzai. Noor Ali Zadran coming back into this match, and Asghar Stanikzai, who was the hero in the last match against Bangladesh with the 91, came in. And today, Noor Ali Zadran, well, he definitely hit some boundaries, but what was good about Noor Ali Zadran's batting today was that the other day we saw that he was very good on the back foot, punching the ball through the covers, playing some good drives. Today one saw Noor Ali Zadran also that he can also play very good strokes off the front foot too. He was willing to come and drive the ballers on the up. Asghar Stanikzai today had a different approach. He tried to attack the Sri Lankan bowling instead of normally he normally plays second fiddle, but here he had a different approach. Asghar Stanikzai, probably with some confidence already there after playing that knock of 91, Asghar Stanikzai played some wonderful strokes. In fact, he played some good onside strokes. He also played some very good strokes down the ground, in the sense he drove very well. And finally, Asghar Stanikzai was the first to go, but this partnership had taken the score from 8 for 1 to 53 in the 13th over. So essentially, if you look at it, it was a 45-run partnership between Asghar Stanikzai and Noor Ali Zadran. Before Stanikzai was done in by Pereira, as Pereira got a ball which Asghar Stanikzai couldn't spot out properly, and the ball was very well bowled by Mr. Pereira, because it held the seam and it went on to knock the stumps. So Asghar Stanikzai was walking back to the pavilion, out for 27 of 34 balls with 5 fours. The score at 53 for 2 in 13th over. Noor Ali Zadran was joined in by Navroz Mangal this time, and Ajanta Mendes was also introduced into the attack. Now Ajanta Mendes, it was very interesting to see how the Afghanistan batsmen would actually play Ajanta Mendes, because they are playing Ajanta Mendes for the first time, and Ajanta Mendes has a lot of variations, his carom ball, his googly, so it was very good to see how Afghanistan players shaped up well. They definitely struggled against Ajanta Mendes, as Noor Ali Zadran, Noor Ali Zadran was the first to go, as he was caught by Chaturanga de Silva of the bowling of Mendes for 21 of 41 balls with 2 fours. That made the score 59 for 3, and then there were 2 cheap dismissals pretty quickly, with Navroz Mangal falling to Pereira for 4 of 13 deliveries. Samila Shenwari, who did well in the last match, was out for 6 for the bowling of Lakmal of 19 balls, and suddenly the half of the Afghanistan team was back into the pavilion with the score on 73 for 5 in the 21st over. After that, it was Mohammad Nabi, the captain, who was the highest scorer, scoring 37 of 35 balls with 1 4, but well, he could not get any support from the lower order or the tail enders, as Najmullah Zadran was dismissed for 11 by Pereira. Mirwaiz Ashraf was out for 1 of 18 balls. Hamza Kotak was LBW bowled Mendes for 1, and Dawlat Zadran was clean bowled by Mendes for a duck. Shapu Zadran was not out or not, and Mohammad Nabi himself was dismissed by Chaturanga de Silva for 37 of 43 balls with 3 fours and 1 6, and Afghanistan were 124 all out. Thus Sri Lanka getting an easy entry into the final. They got the bonus point too, and Sri Lanka won the match by a huge margin of 129 runs. So Sri Lanka have booked their spot into the finals of the Asia Cup 2014. Now, as far as the bowling was concerned, Lasith Malinga, even though Lasith Malinga didn't get any wickets, but the Afghanistan batsmen were really searching as to how to play him, because they were getting edges, they were not really able to middle the ball, and Malinga was proving too much for them. Lakmal, 7 overs 2 minutes 30 runs and 2 wickets, balled in the right areas. Pereira did a wonderful work, 10 overs 2 minutes 29 runs and 3 wickets, but the spinners were the ones who really worried the Afghanistan a lot, as Chaturanga de Silva 9.4 overs 1 minute 29 runs and 2 wickets, and Mendes figures as impressive as he normally does, 7 overs 2 maidens 11 runs and 3 wickets, with the Afghanistan batsmen really finding it hard as to how to play Ajunta Mendes. As I said, he had a lot of variations and they were not able to pick up his carom ball or his googly, and they had a tough time against him. So Afghanistan all out 124, Sri Lanka getting into the finals of the Asia Cup 2014. The man of the match went to Kumar Sangakkara of Sri Lanka. So now that wraps up my report of this particular match, which was the this was the 7th match, I reckon, or the 6th match. I'm just trying to see. Yes, this was the 7th match in the Asia Cup 2014. Now we cast our attention, or cast our glance, as it's going to be the Australia versus South Africa. Today was the 3rd day's play. And looking at the conditions, well, Michael Clarke didn't want to waste any time. He definitely has probably got it in his head that he's going to make a real fist of it, and he's going to go there and try to win this test match, and that's what he precisely did. In fact, Michael Clarke wasted no time on the 3rd day of declaring at the overnight score of 494 for 7. And South Africa, well, it was a very good decision by Michael Clarke, because look at what the Australian bowlers did to South Africa. They had them 287 all out. Well, just looking at the card of the South Africans here, they considered 207, and as I said, Michael Clarke decided not to enforce the follow-on. Now, looking at South Africa today, it was not Mitchell Johnson who gave the breakthrough, but Ryan Harris. Ryan Harris, who has been like a sort of a shadow to Mitchell Johnson, but today Ryan Harris definitely, even though Mitchell Johnson took 4 wickets, Ryan Harris took 3 wickets. But the way Ryan Harris took his wickets, that was really wonderful to see. His bowling was absolutely superb. He bowled a wonderful line and length, and he really troubled all the South African batsmen with his pace and his movement, and that's what dint Grax. In fact, instead of Johnson actually taking Smith's wicket, today it was Ryan Harris who gave them the breakthrough by sending Graham Smith to the pavilion early for 5, as Graham Smith got a ball which was angled into him, as he was trying to work it down through the onside, but he got an edge onto it and had it behind the stumps, took the catch. So he was gone, caught hand and bowled Harris for 5 with 1-4. After that, Elgar came in and joined Elgar Peterson. Elgar Peterson, well, he was the one who was really, I mean, he was playing some good strokes, but Johnson was definitely troubling him by bowling on his rib cage. Dean Elgar was the next to go, as Pattinson got a ball to Elgar, which Elgar actually got an inside edge onto it, but it was a brilliant catch taken down the leg side by Brad. Had in a wonderful catch with the bowling of Pattinson for 11 with 1-4, which made the score 42 for 2. And then Peterson, after playing a very good knock of 53 of 62 balls with 8 fours, couldn't keep out Johnson, as Johnson actually got a ball which actually Peterson edged, and Haddin behind the stumps took the catch. Haddin was in business for a long time in this particular on the 3rd day. So that made it 95 for 3. And Hashim Amla, after playing some sublime cover drives, was a victim of a beautiful delivery which was bowled by Harris. Hashim Amla was absolutely done in by Harris, as Hashim Amla actually shaping to drive, got a gap between his bat and pad, and the stumps were really hit hard by Harris here, as Hashim Amla was clean bowled by Harris for 38 with 6 fours, which made the score 121 for 4. And then there were 2 quick wickets that fell, and that was something, a big blow for South Africa, as A.B. de Villiers was sent to the pavilion by Johnson for 14 with 2 boundaries, and Dumini also fell very cheaply, caught Haddin bowled Harris for 4, and suddenly South Africa were looking in real trouble at 146 for 6. Then it required someone to stand up to the Australian pace bowlers, and that came in the form of du Plessis, who really decided to stay put at the crease and take his time. And what was good about this partnership was that he got a very able partner in Vernon Philander, who really showing those qualities that would term him as an all-rounder. Really they really ducked themselves on. I mean, they played with so much of responsibility. They knew that they had to really chisel in the runs, chisel away at the Australian pace bowlers, and that's what they precisely did. They chiseled a partnership of 95 runs. It took a long time. It was absolutely important in that context that they had to do it, and they did it to a nicety here. with du Plessis and Philander forming the 90-run partnership. Before du Plessis, once again, Johnson coming on in his second spell took the wicket of du Plessis after du Plessis has done a wonderful job with 67 runs of 135 balls with 6 fours when he was a victim of the bowling of Johnson. And after that, well, one on Philander saw Kyle Abbott coming in, and Shane Watson actually castled Kyle Abbott for 3, so he was gone, bowled by Watson for 3. And then Dale Steyn, even though he was injured, I thought he played a very good knock. He gave good support to one on Philander at the other end with contributing 28 in pretty quick time. He crashed 5 boundaries in his knock of 28 of 27 balls. And then Morne Morkel was and then Dale Steyn was consumed by Johnson for 28, and Morne Morkel fell a victim to Pattinson 7 with 1 boundary, and that left South Africa 287 all out in reply to Australia's first innings total of 494 for 7 declared, and that meant a lead of 207 runs. As I said, Michael Clarke, the Australian captain, decided not to enforce the follow-on, probably thinking that it would be good to have South Africa bat last on this pitch rather than Australia. I thought that was a good move considering how the pitch has been playing, and South Africa with the 207 runs lead, sorry, Australia with the 207 runs lead was sitting pretty at close of play at 27 for no loss of the 6 overs. Just talking about the South African innings, Vernon Philander was not out on 37 with 1-4, played a nice hand there. Let's look at the bowling card as far as the Australians are concerned. Ryan Harris, I thought he bowled superbly, and I thought this was his best spell in this entire series, and he was right on the money. 22 overs, 9 maiden, 63 runs and 3 wickets. He troubled all the South African batsmen. Mitchell Johnson continuing his good work, 19 overs, 5 maidens, 42 runs and 4 wickets. Pattinson also showed that he could bowl with lots of pace, 18.5 overs, 4 maidens, 77 runs and 2 wickets. Watson bowled 9 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 34. Nathan Lyon, the spinner, wicketless, 12 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 53. Stephen Smith, 2 overs for 7 runs. And Australia got 6 overs to face, well, as you know, Dale Steyn couldn't bowl. Probably one could see Dale Steyn in action tomorrow, hopefully. Well, Australia finished at 27 for no loss, with David Warner deciding to attack Morne Morkel by reducing his bowling figures to 3 overs for 24 runs, with David Warner contributing an unbeaten 25 at close of play of 17 balls with 4 fours. Chris Rogers, as usual, playing second fiddle, not out on 1 of 19 deliveries, and Australia closed the day at 27 for no loss on the 3rd day. That means essentially they were 234 runs ahead. As far as the bowling was concerned, Morkel 3 overs for 24 and Kyle Abbott 3 overs, 1 minute, none for 2. So it's all set up for an interesting 4 days play coming up here at the Sahara ground here in Newlands in Cape Town. Well, one hopes that tomorrow, I think the approach as far as Australia will be concerned will be to go for the runs as quickly as possible. David Warner has already sounded that in the short stay that he has been there. So probably he would have a full license tomorrow to attack the South African bowling, and probably Michael Clarke would like to get a good score and then probably declare the innings probably at tea time and set South Africa a very, very target which would be chaseable, so that Australia have a good hard crack at actually winning this series here in South Africa. But all in all, it is going to be an interesting tussle which is coming up tomorrow at Newlands in Cape Town on the 4 days play of the final test match between Australia and South Africa. Well, that wraps up my Cricket Happening show for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for your company as always, and your host Ram, as usual, would be there to cover the 4 days play on the match between Australia and South Africa, and also we'll be probably tomorrow. Tomorrow would be the time where the next final spot would be decided. It would probably be decided whether Pakistan would be taking on Sri Lanka in the Asia Cup Finals 2014, depending on how Bangladesh play tomorrow. Well, dear fans and subscribers, that really concludes this cricket show of mine. Thanks for your company once again. Your host Ram will see you all tomorrow. Thank you.